I'm Naomi Eklund, and we are going to be talking about anxiety. It is rampant in our world. We either all have it or we know someone who has it. To a varying degree, it is affecting everyone's lives. And anxiety wastes our opportunities for intimacy and enjoyment of life. It reduces our productivity at work. And it also keeps us from finding and expressing those things that bring us great joy. So let's take a little bit of a look at what might cause anxiety. First of all, it really comes down to feeling safe. And there's a lot of great exercises out there, understanding what it means to be safe as far as what am I afraid of, etc. Those matter, and I do those with clients, and yet it all comes down to one simple thing, which is, do you feel safe? And when we talk about presence, which is something that, for example, Eckhart Tolle has talked a lot about, we talk about presence. It means, am I sitting here in this moment? Am I aware of my surroundings and myself in this moment? This is one of the reasons why prayer and meditation help us so much. Because if we are praying and if we are talking to the divine, we tend to be more present. Unless, of course, we're praying and we're in an anxious state about something that we don't have and that we think we need. If we're meditating, that's going inward and talking to the divine within us, exploring the inner world of our divineness. So prayer and meditation are often helpful states. At work, we don't necessarily know how to go into a prayer or meditative state. At a traffic light, when someone's blowing their horn or cutting us off, we're not necessarily going to think about praying or meditating for the first thing. And certainly when our children or our family are demanding things of us, it's hard to sit down and think about praying when you've got a family that needs you. But what you can do is breathe. Now, I know that this is very common now to think about breathing, but let's understand why we breathe and how to breathe. Taking a deep breath is not necessarily going to make you feel safer. It's where is your attention while you're breathing that is going to help you feel safer. So simply the act of taking a deep breath might help, but the act of being aware of your breath and following that breath and your attention on the breath all the way into your body and then exhaling is likely to be more effective. Now, breath brings us to the very first moment of life when hopefully someone embraced you and you felt welcomed into this world. So breath tells us that we're here, we're in the world, we're alive. And hopefully if you had a good experience at your birth, it will help you to remember that there's someone there to hold you and catch you. Breath brings you into the present moment. Now, why does breath in the present moment matter? Because if you are in the present moment, you have a greater capacity to truly assess whether or not you're safe. And if feeling safe is the antidote to anxiety, then it's really important that you put your energy and attention on feeling safe. And the present moment is the best way to assess whether or not you're safe, because emotionally, it is really hard for us to distinguish between the mental images that are trying to keep us safe by rerunning past experiences and projecting those experiences onto the present moment, or trying to problem solve for things that might make us unsafe that we haven't even thought about. The mind does that, and it's really hard emotionally to discern the truth. Am I really threatened? My mind is running rampant, wondering where my threats are. But the question is, am I really threatened? And so if you are present and if you breathe, for example, as I'm sitting here breathing, I can breathe all the way into my body, pay attention to breathing into my body, feel the kneading of my legs and my bottom and my back to my chair, feel my feet on the ground. I then have the opportunity to recognize that I'm safe, I'm in my body. Okay, so that's a good thing. I'm safe, I'm in my body. And then I can look around the room and I can see, are there really dangers here in the room? And if there is no danger here in the room, then I can make a fairer assessment. Now, are there dangers in the world? Yes, of course there are dangers in the world. We are not going to solve them by being anxious. We are going to solve them by bringing our attention and awareness into the present moment. First of all, assessing our state of physical safeness, and then moving into understanding, is our tribe safe? Are we as a group of people safe? Are we as the human race safe? Are we taking proper action steps? You can't get to that place where you're taking a look around and saying, are people being treated fairly? Are human beings being fed? Is business being done in a way that is both profitable and equitable for all of those involved? Is justice being served? Is prosperity being served? Is wellness being served? Are all of these elements being served in the world around us? And the answer is clearly that we have a long way to go before we are a fair, equitable, just society in which capitalism and entrepreneurism and being a good neighbor and all humans being taken care of have found their balancing point. So as a tribe, we do have a long way to go. And yet the reality is that most people who have access to this video are physically safe. And if we put our attention on the fact that we're physically safe, we then have the opportunity to assess the situation more realistically. And we want to assess the situation realistically for a number of reasons. One, then we can actually address it. So for example, if you're watching this video, you probably have some source of income, possibly it's a job, possibly you have your own business. When we have a need for income, which most of us do, we identify our source of income as a source of survival. And there's a fairness in this. What happens though is we sometimes forget that we are safe, and that while we want to take excellent care of the people around us and do our job with integrity and exchange fairly and honestly and equitably and with enthusiasm with our employer or our clients, if for some reason this employment situation changed, the vast majority of the time you would still be safe. If your client load changes, you're still going to be safe. You may have to make adjustments, but you'll be safe. If you do your job well, there's an extremely good chance that you and your employer can continue to have a good relationship. So the anxiety around the situation is being created by our mental projections and fear around this idea that we could lose our job and therefore we wouldn't be safe anymore. The reality is that we are safe, and the more energy we have to do our job, the better we're going to perform. And that if we are wasting energy being anxious, we then lose energy toward doing our job well. So the anxiety itself, this mental projection around our safety and the sensitivity that our mind has to creating a safe environment, can sabotage us if we are not present to the fact that our body is safe, that we know the steps to take, we have the capacity to assess our situation, and that we have the ability, once we know that our body is safe, to move our thoughts up into the higher realm of, are my children safe? Is my tribe safe? Is the human race safe? Knowing that we have many tribes, our immediate family, all the way out to every member of the human race on the planet. And if we are motivated, what actions are we to take? From a place of security, from a place of strength, what actions are we supposed to take so that we can effectively go out and assist our tribe? And we also have to remember that self-esteem, taking care of ourselves, meaning knowing that we're safe, paying attention to our body, feeling ourselves in the space as whole people, paying attention to the fact that we're safe even though our mind is running, paying attention to the fact that those emotions that we're experiencing are most often from paying attention to pictures that are running in our mind that are projecting possibilities instead of dealing with reality. So this self-esteem, this self-attention and awareness of our own state of being is what allows us to start evolving as people. Now here's the tricky part is we have to continue to stay present in our body, to breathe, to be grounded, to be aware of what's happening in our physical environment, and then also remain connected to our tribe and also build self-esteem, and then also know that that moves us toward a greater self-awareness, toward evolution, and that all of these things need attention. We're going to talk more about this in the next video. One of the ideas that I'm going to bring up is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I will have a chart in the next video on Maslow's hierarchy of needs because I think it is crucial for us to understand this in a very visual way. I look forward to speaking with you again. Please do watch the other videos, share comments and questions, and we will do our best to advance this discussion so that we have more peace and groundedness in our life. Thank you.